So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to 90 Day Fiancé Okay. I'm Mr. O, and today, Miss H and I will be discussing Season 10, Episode 3 of 90 Day Fiancé. We still have our core of 4 couples this week, where Manuel meets Ashley's mother, Gino finds out about Jasmine's BBL, Nikki gets to Moldova, and Rob doesn't want to hear about his small apartment or his online cheating. As always, we'll end with our Students of the Week, class dunces, and life lessons. All right, thanks for listening, stay safe, and enjoy.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you today?
I'm not too bad. I just got, 12 hours away from home before we could record.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that was a thing. I had a meeting with my union is what it was today. I was at the union, the district-wide union meeting. So that was something.
Yeah. So super late. I unexpectedly went to bed really early yesterday after a day of partying and completely missed 90 Day Fiancé. So I watched the part where I had to be responsible for summarizing. But I think it's going to be a new to me situation with the couples that you're covering today.
At least it's a little better than when you were on the boat, because at least you know what these people look like.
Yes, that's true. Well, I did catch tail ends of some of the couples, like before they kind of merged into, one of the couples I was covering. So I did get that Manuel kind of sucks. Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and start with them. So we start with them, and Manuel is sleeping in a bed, and he's not quite alone because Rico Suave is there. So Ashley tells us that after their fights about Rico sleeping in the bed, and also how much of a witch she is and whether that counts, they kind of came to not really a resolution, but they managed to find themselves in a reasonable place after some whiskey and a lot of sex.
Oh, gosh.
So for their first activity of the day, they have to go to the grocery store since her pantry is completely empty. So she pretty much emptied everything out and was like, well, we'll just go shopping together and get all the things that he likes too. So they ask him in an interview what he likes to eat in Ecuador, what kind of foods they have. And he says everything, but Ashley is like, no, there are like 5 things. It is like avocado and red onion. And she even specifies it's always red onion, never yellow, never a shallot, nothing, always red onion. But they go there. So anyway, at the market, he's very confused by the baby carrots. He's like, she's like, they're just cut up for you. He's like, why are you lazy? This is dumb. Why did they cut up carrots? He's confused by the baby carrots. He's very confused by all the fake meat, the vegan meat. And he's like, why does it look like sausage? She's like, but there's not meat in it. He's like, but it looks like meat. And she's like, yeah, but it's not actually meat. And he's like, this is weird. I don't get it. And also the yogurt. He was like, is that milk? And she's like, no, it's definitely not. That's yogurt. He's like, oh, it's a whole new way for him to live. So anyway, on the way home from the market, she asked Manuel if he has called his mom yet to explain that, he's not in Ecuador anymore and is actually in the United States with his fiance.
God.
He's like, nah, I haven't really gotten to that yet. He's like, he doesn't really know how to tell her because, if he tells her, it's just going to be too much stress for her. So actually, he's pretty bothered by his secrecy because it's not just secrecy that he's keeping things from his mom, and it's his entire family, including the 2 teenage children that he evidently has.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Which I believe that was the first we've heard of it. I don't remember hearing that before.
Definitely. I don't think we've heard of it before. So
she's trying not to force him or set any ultimatums, but is really just trying to gently to get him to take her advice and just tell your mom, what are you doing? So speaking of moms, next up, it's time for Manuel to meet Ashley's mom. The meeting is pretty high stakes, and she hopes Manuel can learn to just bite his tongue. So she knows that Manuel didn't bring anything that as dinner with the family level's appropriate. So she brought him some options. He's not a big fan of either of his shirts because he thinks he's going to be clownish. I don't know. I was confused, and you didn't see this part because she had like a purple shirt and another kind of purple shirt and wanted a pattern. He was like, well, I'll look dumb if the patterns match. And I was like, if the colors match, if I'm only wearing one color. And I was like, but you're not wearing purple pants. So I was confused what he meant. So anyway, he's met with the mom before, but didn't talk much because of the language barrier. So then they meet with mom, Stacy, at a Mexican restaurant, who comes in pretty excited to see Manuel. So the plan is to use Google Translate for her to speak with Manuel, but like after one back and forth, she just foists the sister onto Ashley's sister, Sienna, and is like, you're young, you handle this. Like, you can do it. So Stacey starts off pretty direct, asking, well, okay, what about the wedding and what about the babies? And she's like, let's get this going on. I'm tired for me to be grandma. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Stacey, according to Ashley, is pretty baby obsessed, but the way she puts it is really weird because Ashley's like, she doesn't like steal people's babies, but she like watches other people's babies and wants to hold them and like babysit them. It's really weird. And I was like, is that weird? That seems pretty normal behavior, but okay. So when they ask after his family, he says that he didn't say anything about his family to his family when he left, which they're like, that seems weird. Tell me more. So Stacey does not like, Stacey, being a mom, of course, does not like that he's lying to his mom about things, especially something as major as this. So she thinks as time goes on, she's probably going to find more things out about Manuel that aren't going to be so sunny. So Manuel says he'd always have to like face the music here when it came to this issue. And so he's just like telling it like it is and taking it. So Ashley tells us later that they're, as they're walking Rico, that the situation, that bed situation has come to a compromise solution. So Rico has kind of made his own bed out of blankets and stuff under their bed, which is okay because when Rico's in the bed, I'll just say she calls him a cock block.
Gosh.
So when they see, then we see them eating breakfast, the breakfast Manuel has made for them. And she's like, there's a lot of meat in this. This is, yes, a lot of meat. And they start talking about if he's feeling homesick at all, which is just her way of getting in there to bug him again about calling his mom. So he said, finally, he's like, all right, fine, I'll do it. So he doesn't think it's that big of a deal because, you know, really, if she thinks I'm in Guayaquil working, then I have a few months before I have to say anything. Like, I'm usually just gone for a few months and don't talk to him. So that's fine. But okay, if this is what you want, I'll do. He knows it's better in the long run if he's just honest with everyone. I don't know why now is the time, but okay.
Does he really know that?
He says that. He says that to a camera. So they go sit outside to FaceTime with Blanca, his mother, which is immediately confusing because he's supposed to be in Guayaquil working. And like she answered the FaceTime and it's like, you're sitting next to your girlfriend on screen, on frame. This is So Manuel tells Blanca that he's in New York and he's sorry he didn't say goodbye, but you know, that's just like the way things worked out. So he knows it was very bad, and she asks for an explanation, and he doesn't have a good one.
Because he sucks.
And then she's just like, all right, well, don't forget about us because, and that's when the internet cuts out. He's like, oh, the internet must have cut out. He gets what he meant though, because he talks about how like in Ecuador, everybody actually really depended on me and I was the head of the household and I like earned all the money and, you know, but you have to follow your heart. And it's like, what is your plan? And so, yes. So I guess that is, did this man just abandon his family and like is not going to even send them money or anything anymore? Like,
yeah, it definitely sounded like it. And that's part of the reason why he sucks, right? And it's like, he just also to me just seems like he doesn't have any ambitions to work at all in America. Like he's never asked questions. Like sometimes you'll get some of these people that ask a lot of questions about like, well, when can the green card come in? Like, cause then I can work, you know, and when can I make money? Is there anything I can do to like make money? This guy just seems like he wants to sit around on the couch all day. Like I swear when I was fast forwarding through their segments, it was a lot of him on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of him on the couch with Ashley being, there was very much a lot of, so did you call your mom yet? What about your mom? Talk about your mom. Have you called? What's going on? Because it made her extremely uncomfortable because I know it's the same thing we went last time. And I don't know how you can square that circle or solve that problem. Like if you're going to lie to your mom about things, you're going to lie to, and if you're going to do, this is literally a situation that you hear about in like, you know, horror stories or old movies and stuff where you're just like, oh, I don't know, dad said he was going on a work trip and he just never came home. Like literally what's happening here. Like,
yeah. He went out for a pack of smokes and never came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah, I need to know more about his family situation. Like, is there a parent taking care of these kids? How old are these kids? I mean, Ashley I did catch the part where she said they were like she considered them older, but it didn't sound like older as in living by themselves. It sounded like older as in like teenage boys, like probably high school age.
That's what it sounded like to me. Older in that, like, they're not like, they don't need full, like, they don't need babysitting, right? They don't really need somebody with them all the time. But I mean, he definitely said the word, or at least they translated from him, teenagers, right? So I'm imagining like 16, 17, especially given his age. Yeah. Right? He's not like super old. Like,
yeah. Also, what I thought was kind of weird about that too is Ashley, for one, you know, she did mention like, well, shouldn't they know that they're going to have a stepmom? And then it's like, yeah, do these kids even know about Ashley? And then how long ago was their relationship? Like,
yeah, she said that was like, what is it, like 7 years ago? So we already had the kids then.
Okay. I don't know. It just seems really weird. He just doesn't seem like he really gives a crap about his family.
Right. Okay. So I did look it up. He's 35, right? So they're probably not that old, right? They're probably more like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Like, unless like 19, 20, you know?
Yeah. And that's absolutely possible. But yeah, super strong, giving me Luis vibes. Like the more we see him, the more I'm like, this dude is just like Luis. I've come here and secured my retirement at 35. I've made it to America where I get to sit on my ass and be taken care of. Like, he wants to be a kept man type stuff. Yeah, well, okay. Also, I mean, we'll find more out about this next week, but like even in the preview, Ashley voiced concern over whether or not he just came here to connect with his family. That is totally Luis, right? Luis was just here to pretty much like, he had some family members that were in America and he was just like trying to get closer to his family. He just needed to get here. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't. Yeah. His lack of planning or ideas always is bothersome, because it's like, maybe he did that. I don't know. But he doesn't have any kind of, clearly doesn't have any kind of plan, because he had no idea what he was going to tell his mom. Like, mom was like, why did you do this? And he was like, reasons. That's pretty much all he had. He would try to explain it. I didn't even really follow what his explanation was, but it was very much like, well, you know, things just happen sometimes, and then, you know, you end up in a situation where you're here, and it's like, okay, that's not really an explanation.
Yeah, that's super bizarre. He's not my favorite. All right, moving on to people who are a little bit more favored, at least for now, and that's Nicole and Justin. So Nicole is packing up and realizes that she forgot her syringes for her hormone injections. Her friend Chanel stops by to take her to the airport. Nicole says they are 9 months into their K1 visa, and Nicole wants to go to Moldova to resolve all their issues before Justin comes over to the US. Chanel says that when Nikki talks about Justin, it's mostly negative. Her impression is that Nikki is in it 100%, but Justin isn't. Chanel knows that Nicole gives Justin money, and he uses that money, as she says, to pay for rent, his car, and all of his plastic surgeries. I was like, whoa. We went from this guy, like I said last week, was like probably the best looking, to, okay, well, how much of this is plastic surgery? Has been questioning everything.
I definitely don't think I don't think he's good enough looking. I looked at him, paid closer attention this time. He's got like big bags under his eyes and stuff like that. I don't know. Like,
to me, that's like age, which I'm fine with. No. So I was like, what plastic surgery is he talking about? Maybe like possibly lip injections. Like if you look at his lips from like back then, but that just seems like an odd
it
thing.
Could also be body stuff. Like it could be like chest implants and stuff like that. Like,
oh my gosh. Okay, that's weird. But all right. So anyways, well, I shouldn't say weird, just uncommon, right? That's not like the kind of plastic surgery you're used to hearing about.
Well, I mean, you're not usually used to hearing any plastic surgery from men.
Yeah. I mean, okay, the things that I could think about is maybe a nose job. Right. And like maybe lip injections, because his lips definitely seemed a bit thinner.
Unless, do you count hair implants as plastic surgery?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm all for it. Yeah, get those plugs. So anyways, Nicole is very nervous about meeting Justin's family again because now they know she's trans, whereas before they didn't know. Justin is getting ready for Nikki, which includes vacuuming, getting a welcome mat, and scrubbing his shoes. Justin says that because of the time difference, they often don't talk because he is too tired, and this has actually caused a lot of fights in their long-distance relationship. He thinks that they need this time together to see if they can get along in person. Justin is also nervous about this trip because he's not sure how people will act knowing that Nikki is trans, and he's worried that people won't be accepting of their relationship. Nikki is at the airport, freshening up in the bathroom, joking that Justin kisses her like an 80-year-old man. She walks through the doors and Justin is waiting there for her, and they have an affectionate meeting. He says his lips are burning from the kiss because it was so hot. He gives her a giant bouquet of roses wrapped in paper that is coincidentally the same color as the trans flag. They are talking about what they're going to do, which Nikki jokes about Russian sausage, and she makes a lot of weird sex jokes, like this entire time. They're talking about it's a task getting all the luggage in the car, and they drive by the Moldova, where Nikki remembers it's where they first kissed.
Oh, I can't believe we've been to Moldova multiple times and we haven't seen the Moldova yet before.
I know.
That's wild.
It's so punny. Oh, my goodness. So she then asks about the engagement celebration that they're supposed to have, and Justin says that it will be small with just close friends. Nikki continues to make dirty jokes whenever possible. They go to a cafe where Nikki is already getting looks from strangers. Justin can't help but wonder if it's because everybody knows she's trans. Justin tells us that women in Moldova do get made up and, like put on makeup and, do their hair all nice, but only on special occasions. So that's part of the reason Nikki attracts more attention. Justin says that maybe they shouldn't go out at night. Justin says that he's worried about her safety because she looks like a trans porn star. Nikki says that he's not shelving her in the dark. She wonders if he's secretly dating someone that they might run into at night. Nikki thinks that something shady is happening, and Justin says that they can talk about it later and they'll see. I just realized after reading this whole thing,
what's that? I
called him Justin the entire time because I completely forgot his name is Igor because they had Justin plastered everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But yes, Igor, this poor guy got slapped with the name Justin, but his name is really Igor. Okay, so I don't know. I feel like it really could go either way. But about, why Justin's really trying to keep her from being out at night, right? But the last thing on the list is he's got a secret girlfriend that he's trying to hide from her.
That is not on my list at all. And this is a secret nocturnal girlfriend that only comes out at night.
Right, right.
You'll no chance of running her into her during the day. Only at night will the secret girlfriend come out of here.
Oh,
yes, I mean, the two most obvious candidates for why he's out there is one of why he's doing this is one, he is telling the truth. He is legit concerned that she's going to attract the wrong kind of attention and they're going to get jumped. There's just going to be homophobic, hate crime. She's going to be a victim of a hate crime. Right. And the other one is he's embarrassed to be with a trans person.
Yes.
Those are the two most obvious ones. Secret girlfriend, way down on the list.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Nikki, you're a little delusional when it comes to this. I don't really know. Right,
and there wasn't really a history, but that's what's crazy to me is there has been a relationship history of him being embarrassed to be with a trans person.
Yes.
And not a relationship history of him cheating. So why is that the one that is more concerning to you or more pressing?
Yeah. I said last week that I really needed to see these two together in person to really, because they just didn't have the same kind of energy and they just seemed like, I don't know, incompatible people just based on what you kind of were introduced to.
Sure.
I can kind of see a little bit more now, okay, they don't seem too awkward together. It seems kind of natural, but I am all of a sudden have different kinds of concerns because if Nikki's talking shit about Igor all the time to her friends And, you know, Igor is mentioning that, you know, they don't do so well with long distance because she's always getting mad at him because he, you know, is too tired to talk or whatever. It just seems like this is a relationship where he's going to be nagged quite often and, you know, be with someone who's just always like upset with him, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think they're hoping that a lot of the upsetness goes away when they can actually see and talk to each other, because I think there's a couple things at play here. One is that time difference is hard.
Oh, like, yeah, definitely.
Like the two of us just have 3 hours trying to coordinate pretty much just this podcast at this point, right. And that's fucking hard. Like,
yes,
right?
It is.
It's 3 hours one time a week, right? Let alone, this is 10 hours. It's a 10-hour difference. That's a lot. Like my person just got back from Europe and it was 7 hours for just a week, and I was like, this is awful. Like, I hate this.
Right.
Like, and because it is true, because it's like by the time Nikki is off work, right? Yeah. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning. He's like, I can't do anything. I'm not going to do anything. I'm tired. And then you only talk when one of the two of you is tired. It's either super early for her, super late for him. Right. And not only that, but it's hard to do the distance thing, even when the time difference isn't crazy, because you don't get that like release of actually being in the presence with them and getting to touch that person and see that person and actually spend time with them. And all you have is the little, it's almost really hard for that to not just be bickering and fights the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He seems like he was trying, which I thought was interesting, Chanel's take on it, that, you know, Justin isn't really in it. Because to me, it seems like he's been putting an effort, but also it does make me wonder how much money is she giving him too? Right.
Is this just I can fake this for this amount of money? Like I can put up with this for.
Right. Or is this I need hair plugs. Like, can I ask you for money? And he gets like this one-off, or is he like living off of her?
Right. Right. Which we haven't heard him say anything about at all. I mean, this is kind of the first time we've heard much about the money. I think we've heard kind of like, oh yeah, I've sent him money or blah, 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 blah. I don't think we did that. But yes, dating, is it just a sugar mama situation for him? Like yeah.
What I also thought was interesting that we found out this week was the fact that they're getting close to 9 months, or they've spent 9 months. They've had their visa for 9 months already, and he hasn't come over.
Well, how long do you have? I find that interesting specifically because last week when Manuel was coming, they were like, it's literally the last day he can come. Yeah. Like, so that had to be longer than 9 months if he's had his for 9 months.
Right, right. I don't know. Maybe like a year. A year seems like a good amount of time for you to settle your affairs back in your home country.
Yeah. I mean, what I would do is definitely a difference from what I would is actually the deal, because I feel like so many other ones we see where it's like, oh shit, they got their visa, now we have to scramble to get everyone. They are scrambling to put everything in order because they're like, oh shit, we had no idea, now they're on their way. You know, so I don't know. It's the ins and out of this after all the show, 10 seasons of this show are still like, this doesn't make sense with what we've seen before.
Right, because it feels like, with Nicole going to visit Igor, it seems like their clock hasn't even started. You know, they have the countdown of how many days until the wedding, right? For almost all these couples, but they haven't even started theirs yet.
Yeah, because he hasn't landed yet, right? It's not until he lands for this time. And so, yeah, I didn't know that you're at the 9 months is something I didn't think about. But yeah, that seems like it seems like compared to the other couples we've met, seems like an awful long time to be able to hold on to the visa and not use it.
Right. I do think there is some element of, like them wanting to be on the show. Like, and by them, I mean the couples, right? Couples wanting to be on the show. And so having to coordinate their timeline of travel or timeline of entry with like a, you know, shooting schedule. And so like some of these couples who were like felt like it was more rushed, it could be because, you know, well, they got to start filming now. And so it's like they, you know, may have a year to settle their affairs, but they just kind of rush it to get on this show.
Right. And when that comes to the people who, you know, like, I feel like there's a decent number of couples that more or less where someone applies for this show first and then is like, all right, now I got to find a fiance.
Got to find a fiance. Oh my gosh.
I want to be on a reality show. This is not their first shot at a reality. Like even like Darcy had tried to do other reality shows before she was on. Like people do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to my other couple of Sophie and Rob. Oh boy. So Sophie is having a little bit of trouble doing her makeup in the outhouse bathroom, that mirror at Rob's place. So,
oh God.
Okay. She doesn't really like this having to go outside to pee thing. And so I'm a little confused because is it a shared bathroom or is it his bathroom that just is like across the courtyard?
I'm confused by this situation, but I've certainly seen some places, even around where I am, where it's like almost like hostel style, where it's like you rent out a room, yes, and there's a shared bathroom like down the hall from wherever your place is. Right.
And that we don't have it. We don't have all those places got grandfathered out a long time ago here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Rob refuses to admit that it's that big of an issue. He thinks that things are going pretty good so far. They've been there for like a day or whatever, aside from the elevator glitch. So Sophie says that she slept well, even though Rob insisted on like having sex instead of letting her just fall asleep. So she tells him that it is weird that you have to put on your shoes and go outside to pee when you in the middle of the night, especially, you know, after this said sex that they had, right? Now that we did it, put on your clothes and your shoes and walk outside to the bathroom and pee. So he's like, but you know what? Hey, this isn't London. This isn't their fancy Dubai. This isn't some bougie place. But logically, she's just like, yeah, having a bathroom in your house is not bougie. Like that, that's just standard, normal living situation. So she says that she understands that he's really just being defensive about it, but that's interrupted by this is an interview, and she's like, I understand he's kind of being defensive, and then he passes behind her in the interview to go to this bathroom that they're talking about. So he doesn't want to have he is frustrated because he doesn't want to have to keep having this fight every morning about moving because it makes him feel inadequate, and he doesn't like that. So she says she needs to just lay off. So to make things better, to kind of put things in a better mood, Rob takes her to the favorite part of living in LA, which is the beach. Specifically, they go to Venice Beach, where Sophie immediately starts pointing at, hey, there's apartments right there, and there's houses right there. We should rent one of those. And he's like, yeah, no, we can't afford those. And that's like, I live in a room across from a bathroom. It's not going to work. So Sophie, unless your family could help out with that. But Sophie says she can't help out now because she's not working yet, and she has been financially independent from her family since she was about 17. So she might be rich, but she doesn't like tap into that richness. And also, it's really not that long. I keep forgetting she's 23. So when she's like, oh, wow, since you've been 17, it was like, yeah, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, that independence makes her a little annoyed when Rob's solutions to all their financial problems are just ask your family for money. So they go for a walk on the beach, and Rob's phone buzzes, and he takes it out to look at it, and it's a notification. Okay, this was weird. It was a push notification from Instagram that and you know the Instagram, when they send you a notification, it kind of shows you like the top half of the picture of what it is. Well, it was somebody in some sexy Dora the Explorer cosplay. Okay. And Sophie's just like, what the shit is that? And he also immediately gets pretty defensive about that. And he's like, no, I don't follow that person. I just follow like a page that like reshares stuff. I didn't even know if I knew I followed that page. And she's like, it's pretty weird you're following sexy cosplay of children's television. And he's like, but I don't. I just follow a page that posts it. And she's like,
that's better.
Not helping. That's not better. So she's also kind of being pretty jealous about the whole thing. And because she's like, wait, I unfollowed basically everybody that posted thirst traps when I got with you. What are you doing? She's defensive and he's defensive. She's jealous. And she says she's right to feel jealous because of his online cheating. We'll get to that later. So later on, they're walking the dog, and Sophie says she'd only be comfortable walking the dog alone once they got to one of the nicer parts of LA. And she says she does feel bad about intruding his privacy on the beach by like looking at his phone. But, you know, there was that situation during the COVID lockdowns where he got videos and pictures from some other person, which she considered cheating, but she forgave him for. But even though she forgave him, apparently she needs to bring it up now while they're walking this dog because, and he just thinks it's now something she just brings up random times, but has already been resolved. So he says that all he did was, okay, so it's not exactly clear what happened. He said that somebody sent him pics and he responded. Doesn't say whether or not he sent any pics back or what kind of pics they were, although we all kind of make assumptions about what kind of pics they were.
Yeah.
But that it was only like an hour or so. Like he started talking to this person, sent some pics and was like, this is a bad idea. I'm going to stop doing this. Right. And the other person like immediately snitched. Immediately was like, look at the screenshots from I was talking to your boyfriend. Ha ha ha. Look what I got, because that's what people do. So he gets very animated that it should not count as cheating. And he doesn't say it was right, but he did also was like, I definitely says I didn't do anything wrong. So anyway, so he throws it back at you. And then this is his chance to throw it back at her. Like, my friend saw you on a dating app, which she was like, yeah, but it was Bumble BFF. It wasn't Bumble Bumble. And he's like, yes, it was. It was Bumble Bumble. And she was like, no, it's not. She's not a fan of how he gets so defensive about everything. And they kind of are both just like angry at each other when the episode ends, or at least when their segment ends. So, I mean, based on all of this, I guess defensive is not the best word to be the primary word to use about your partner. Describe your partner to me. Well, he's defensive. Like, what's worse than that?
It sounds like he is, because it sounds like he does a lot of shady shit and very questionable and like hard to defend, and so he has to be defensive.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, he was. He was to me annoyingly defensive, like, because it was stuff he could have been like, look, we talked about it. You know, you have my explanation. It is what it is. Like, that's what it is. But he gets very animated. He gets very angry. Like, he's visibly angry. Like, I don't want to talk about this every night. Why are we talking? Yeah. You shouldn't even talking about this. You already resolved this. Like, he's visibly angry and like visibly just mad at her for bringing it up. And yeah, it's not great.
It's annoying because we've seen that before on this show, on other shows, where it's like the strategy is to get mad at them about this to be your defense, right? Like, that is your defense. You're going to be mad at them to try to like out anger them and somehow have that get you out of it.
Now we're talking about your half. Now we're talking about you and not talking about me anymore.
Right. Yeah. And it's just that strategy is so annoying to me too.
No, and it was annoying to me because he's like, he's so close to getting it. He's like, oh, I don't like when she brings up where I live every day because it makes me feel inadequate. And I'm kind of like, it should. Like, like if you want to not feel inadequate, then she can't make you feel inadequate. You already feel inadequate about this place. Now you've tried to convince everybody that you don't, but this is something that makes you feel inadequate. And so her saying stuff about it, that's not bringing those feelings up. That's validating your own feelings, and you don't like the way that feels, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's just one of those things too that I'm just like, then get a job. Like, you don't have a job. Like, you don't have a full-time job, and you're like, well, make me feel like I'm inadequate. It's like, then don't be an Instagram model. Like, you want to not feel inadequate? Then be adequate. Like, stop. Don't just expect everyone to pretend that you are when you're not.
Yeah. This is like a really interesting couple to me. Like, not, you know, they're not the most interesting couple on the show or anything like that. But I mean, they're fascinating to me in that they both can't hate on each other for kind of doing the same thing, right? Because they're both trying to not work and just be influencers. The difference is that Sophie
is successful at it.
Right. Comes from money, has money. And Rob over here is just like, oh, goodness, who knows what he's doing? And I just feel like you're right. Sophie's better at kind of, I don't want to say freeloading, but not working. Rob is not so good at it. And I just, at what point are they not going to be seeing eye to eye? And she's going to be the one saying, like, you need to get a job. Yeah.
I mean, I do think so, because I do think she's going to still be better at it. And is like, and I think she'll be able to actually contribute doing what they both want to be doing. And he won't. And it's going to be like, well, you have to get a job. It's like, why? You're doing the same thing. And
right.
She's
That's
be like,
how I see it going down too.
Mine brings in money and yours doesn't. Like, what are you doing? Not doing? So we're not doing the same thing, are we? Right. I think that does sound like a direction this could very likely go in.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Last couple we had this week was Gino and Jasmine. So Gino is proud of himself because he washed a comforter that, Jasmine said smelled bad. They've been cleaning and unpacking, and Jasmine feels good about the effort Gino has been putting in to make her feel comfortable at the house. Jasmine has a surprise for Gino. It's a sexy nurse costume. She has a matching doctor's uniform for Gino. Dr. Gino scrubs in, and Jasmine says that she is the nurse and the patient in this role play.
This was the worst, least coherent role play of doctor and nurse I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's like she's the nurse and then she's the patient. But she had reconstructive vagina surgery about 4 months ago, and they couldn't have sex the last visit because Jasmine is now too small. During this time that they were trying to have sex, they were arguing and super stressed. So Jasmine has since bought vagina stretchers for Dr. Gino to try on her. The next morning, thankfully, they skipped past. Jasmine,
they still had a lot of making out.
Yeah, well, Jasmine is happy that she is not a virgin anymore. She then tells Gino that the more sex she has in a day, 3 or more times, she says, the better she gets along with someone. Gino isn't worried about intimacy as long as they don't argue so much. They go down to the kitchen where Jasmine is quizzing Gino about what is in the bread that she can't eat. It ends up that Jasmine is vegan and she can't eat honey. She is also cold, and Gino offers her a long john top, and Jasmine says that she really needs to buy her own warm clothes because she doesn't want to just wear his clothes all the time. She then says she doesn't want to overwhelm him with more requests for things, but she wants to replace the stuff that just plain doesn't work. Gino then tells Jasmine that she is his priority and he wants to give her all the attention and is really trying to lay the groundwork for telling her, so that's why he quit his job. Gino says that they can live off his savings until they get married and then he can get a job. Jasmine says that they should have discussed this before, but she argues the reason she moved to the U.S. was because Gino has a job, and that is no longer the case. Jasmine says that he is jeopardizing their chance to bring her sons and her sister to the U.S. Gino says that if they stick to a budget and only buy things they need, they'll be fine, like just having a wedding ceremony. Jasmine starts crying, saying that she's stressed. Later, Gino and Jasmine are leaving the house, so they have to diaper Coco the dog because Coco has been having separation anxiety and peeing. Gino is letting Jasmine borrow a coat, which she says smells dusty. They're off to get a massage, but inside, Jasmine says she's panicking because she just found out that they don't have an income. They are in their couple's massage and just kind of bantering back and forth. The masseuse tries to massage Jasmine's ass, and Jasmine tells her not to because her ass hurts. Gino asks why, and Jasmine tells him about the Brazilian butt lift. And Gino asks how can she do something like that because it's just crazy. He asks some follow-up questions and finds out that Jasmine told him that she had COVID when she was really recovering from the surgery. Gino then says that they could have spent the $10,000 to make all the repairs around the house that Jasmine wanted. They both accuse the other of not communicating. Gino asks the masseuses to leave and asks Jasmine how she got the money. Jasmine says that she had some savings and then also used the money from the wedding dress that Gino gave her. Gino is very mad and tells her that she is really selfish. He leaves in the middle of the massage. Jasmine is very subdued and she doesn't want to tell him the entire truth, which is that she got the remaining $2,000 from her ex, Dane. All right, so how do you think that conversation went down? Jasmine asking Dane, hey, I need an extra $2,000 for my butt. Or was it like, I really need this $2,000 for the butt? Hint,
no, I
hint.
think it was more like that. I think it's more like, oh, you know, I'm taking Gino's money and I'm $2,000 short. And I really want to get it for him. I really could use it. And just kind of, hinting. I don't think, well, let's hope it was, because I feel like Gino would, I don't know, Gino's not going to take that well either way. Like, but yeah, him offering it versus like, wait, you asked your ex for $2,000. What did he do for you there? Like, where did, like,
I don't know, because I think Gino's such a tight ass. He'd be like, great, someone else paid $2,000 and not me.
I mean, I think, I don't know if Gino would necessarily say it, but I'm imagining the tell-all, right? And the other people that tell-all would be like, oh, so a dude just gave you $2,000 for nothing? For no reason, like you didn't do anything in return at all, like for that.
Well, I wonder somewhat too, because she didn't go into it. She just said like that one thing is like if it's a loan, because I could see that as being a little bit more like, okay, well, the expectations that she pays it back, and so you know you can't really say it's a
if it's a loan, sure, it's a sexual some sort of sexual quid pro quo,
right,
yeah. But now you're going to put him in the awkward position that it's like, so you want me to give you money so that you can pay your ex back. So now I have to give money to your ex. Like that's the situation that we're in. That is not a good situation that anybody wants to be in.
No, it's not a good situation. So it's like, I don't know what Dane was thinking kind of contributing to this BBL. And I don't know, like Gino, like, I don't know. I get that she couldn't ask him. But at the same time, it's like, how is this any better?
Yeah. And the thing this is also the other thing. She had this plastic surgery done because it was so desperately needed. She had to borrow money, blah, blah, blah. He didn't even notice.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, she said that, she had a butt before. Right. And that she was like losing weight and that she was getting a flat butt.
How long have they been apart that she went through this entire butt cycle in between?
At least 4 months. She says it's been 4 months since she had the vaginal rejuvenation
Which
surgery.
was right before. No, but didn't he come to Panama after she had the vaginal rejuvenation?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying is like, so it's been probably 4 months at most.
At most. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know that the whole butt cycle happened in that case because she's probably a month after the surgery, if she's decently recovered enough, right?
Yeah.
And she's sitting on an airplane or whatever. I think she's still got some weird cushions and stuff there because I swear when she's wearing pants, it looks lumpy as hell. It looks weird and bad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't buy that you wouldn't within 2 months, I went from no butt that I needed butt implants that I then got that made my butt look exactly like it did before. Right. And it's like, I don't know. It doesn't add up.
Okay. But at the same time, does Gino really seem like the most observant person?
Yeah, at least he kind of noticed her hair. She had to prompt him for the hair too, didn't she? And her hair is very different.
Yes, her hair is very different. I actually like it more now, I think.
Oh, it's way better now.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not sure about the bangs because I really just want to brush it out of her eyes.
She needs the bangs. She needs to manage her bangs. But it's funny because that was the other thing when I watched this with my partners, like, is that she was like, oh, I remember when I got bangs at first, it's weirdly hard to figure out what to do with them. Yeah. And it takes a few months to this is how long they need to be trimmed to. This is how I like them better. These ones brushed to this side, that side. So I feel like she'll get the hang of it and she will look a little bit better. But it's like, I don't know. It's all like, but here's the other thing is I don't get about Gino, and he seems to do a good job of, before the butt lift stuff went down, before they went to the massage, even when they didn't, like he's doing a good job of trying to make her comfortable. But a lot of it is like, why didn't you do that before? Like, why didn't you make your bed and wash your sheets like before she came? Your fiance that is visiting your house for the first time that you've been dating for years. And you're just like, did you vacuum? Did you clean the bathroom? No. Like, what? Why? Just why? It's so
I'm
weird.
still confused why he felt a need to have to quit his job. Like, why not do something like a work part-time? You know? Like, work half days, if at all possible.
Yeah, work out a situation where you can telecommute most of the time. Maybe only go in 2 times a week, right? And you work there. It's just, I don't get it either, because like, I know that Jasmine is very demanding of time and money, but I feel like if she'll understand the money, she'll understand the time if she sees the money. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And like I don't think she's like, oh, I don't understand why you're always working. Like, I feel like she's like, if it was situations where it's like, you got off from work at 4 and it's 8, why are you just getting home? Now that's the time. Right. But it's like, but I think I think she understands working and is like, I was working all day and now we can do something. That I don't know. She's not a baby that needs him to be home and like pamper her all the time, which I think he's confused about because he's only visited her while he was on vacation. Yeah. And then when you're on vacation, she does want all of your time. Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Is that really sustainable to like spend that much time with someone? I think okay. So back up. At this point in a relationship, I don't know. My parents do it like all the time. My parents are inseparable. They have never, except for when I go with my dad to a football game. I don't know when. Oh no, I guess my mom does leave the house and work. She does like babysitting for my sister and stuff. So she'll leave and my dad will be home. But like most of the time they're together, like a lot. But that's also because they've been together for 40 plus years. Like they've got this thing figured out. They've got all the ins and outs and the ups and downs and the little places to give space. They got that all figured out. These two do not. Yeah. And you know what's very interesting to me? They both just seem very different people now. Like Jasmine, like I imagined her, being much more defensive and fired up about her butt. Mm-hmm. She didn't. She was very subdued and very like, okay, I did wrong, like. Right, because and I think it's partly because, and I think she admitted it, she didn't know the situation. She thought he was working in more money. What's the problem? Yeah. We have all the money we need. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, we don't have all the money we need. Right. Oh, but no. Even her being critical of Gino's house has been like, she's trying at least to be kind about it. Like, I don't want to overwhelm you, but things need to get fixed, And he's also been, I don't know, less like a pushover, but not like necessarily the other extreme either. It's just really interesting. Like, this is not the couple I feel like we've seen the last couple seasons. I mean, the things that they eventually do are the same, but I mean, like how they react to things, and how they, have, communicate with one another. It's very different. It's weird. So I'm gonna bring this up now because she mentioned it last time. We saw more making out, and not only did they do it, but Nicole did it. I have not made out with that many people, right? Yeah. Below my share, but no, not zero, but people, right? Okay. None of them have sucked on my tongue. Oh my God, yes. Nicole said something about that. What is that move? I would be like, we're done now. Like, we're done. Like, I don't even know how it would be. I would pull away so fast, except for the fact that they would be sucking on my tongue, but I would be like, disengage. What was that? Like, this is not good. Yeah. I've made out with my fair share of people, and I would say that's not a thing. Yeah, I don't know. We can't even say it's like a, like a European thing or something like that, because they're both from different countries, like Jasmine and Igor. Yeah. Well, and okay, but I don't even blame Igor because he's not the one doing the sucking. It was Nikki, like who's American, and it's like it's never even been a thing that I was like. It's never even been a thing that I was like, well, she seems not to be into this. Let me try some new things. I'm going to go for sucking the tongue. No. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with lip injections, because I'm trying to think of what does Jasmine and Nicole have in common? Oh, they both have crazy lip injections. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe it's a lip injection thing. Could be. You can't. Maybe that's what you have to do to be able to feel what's going on. Who knows?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so it looks like we have another couple joining us next week.
At least, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So out of the group you saw this week, who was your student of the week?
I mean, surprisingly enough, I said Gino.
Okay.
I think he kind of the Buttlift stuff. I don't blame him for getting upset and walking out. Like, that was some bullshit. Like, spend his money. Like, and so, but I think he stayed calm. He's been trying to, at least this time, let it. He didn't keep hiding it that he quit his job. Right. He gave her like reasons for it. I think he's been reasonable and also kind of anticipating what she needs when she does it. Now, they're both wacky and she needs some wacky things, but at least he's considering the way his partner is going to take things in the way he's, bringing them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to do this one because, I didn't see half of the couples.
Sure.
But I'll agree with you with Gino on that one. But I will say I had some strong opinions going into this, who my dunce was going to be, and it's Manuel. This guy, like, down to the stupid look on his face. Like,
he only has one look. He's one of those guys.
Gosh.
His face always looks the same. Are you happy? Have stupid, dumb looking face. Sad, stupid, dumb looking face. Angry, stupid, dumb looking face. It's like, make a face, man. Make a different face.
Gosh, yeah, but I already don't like this guy. I don't like this guy and his dumb face.
And the one I already don't like is Rob. Like,
yeah, for different reasons, but yes.
Yes, but his turning everything around. Like, we're not talking about me. We're talking about you. Why you always got to bring stuff up? Why you always got to make me feel bad? Well, I don't even know how you're doing. We were just sitting here having fun. Like, shut up, man. That's the most annoying kind of person that you can't criticize without them. You can't criticize or say anything bad about without him getting all bent out of shape and start yelling at you. Ugh.
Yeah. All right. What about your life lesson?
So I can only think of one situation where it's okay to say this. So there's really not many situations where it's a good thing to say that your partner looks like a trans porn star.
Oh, God. But this was one of them.
Well, the only exception is if she is a trans porn star.
Right.
But that was funny because, like, I just, the way he went, it was like he dug a hole. He was like, oh, people are going to, she's like, oh, you think people are going to think I'm a man? He was like, no, people are going to think you're like a porn star. And she was like,
oh, thanks. She took it as a compliment.
She did. And she was like, oh, well, okay, that's better. And he was like, a trans porn star. And she was like, well, damn it. Like, you had
You're like, almost there, buddy.
You went just too much.
I know, right? You just overshot it just a smidge. My life lesson is never ask your ex for anything, especially money.
Yeah, I can't.
Bad.
That's wild. Like,
yeah.
No. And I can't think of any circumstances where I'd ask my ex, where I would, I mean, I must say,
yours is a different situation,
it's a different, right?
Because you have kids.
When we're doing things for the joint kids, I would never say like, "Oh, I'm a little hard up this month, and I need
money for myself."
I need money for myself. Yeah, no, come on, no.
There's this Brazilian butt lift I've been wanting to get.
Yes, yeah, right. I need this plastic surgery really
short,
bad, and I'm 2,000 short. I know the kids need school clothes, but I really need this. I really need these hair plugs. I need it.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we will be back again next week and with a new couple or two.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, so until then.
Right, see everybody then.
Okay,
bye.